Today we're going to paint some space walls. First off, we started off with a white undercoat because it's going to be a light base colour. Next we're applying Fenrisian grey. Once the Fenrisian grey has had time to dry, a watered down rust grey was applied, and the reason I watered it down is that way the paint naturally wants to absorb into the crevices of the miniature. In the circular areas of the miniature, I've started off with a straight line with celestial grey, and then either end of the straight line I've made it as a slight bit of a triangular shape. I'm using Wulfen grey to apply areas where I feel light would hit the armour to add extra colour, and I've also used this time vertically on the circular areas to again represent how light is bouncing off of the armour. White sky is now being applied in smaller amounts into the same areas, again to try help showing that reflection off the armour. For the inner armour, I started off first with Mechanicus standard grey. Lead belcher was applied to the silver areas on the weapon and a few areas on the backpack, and then after that paint has had time to dry, we then applied null oil. For the weapons, again we're trying to keep them dark, so I started off with Abaddon black. Then I've used Mechanicus standard grey to pick out the uppermost areas of edges, and lastly a little bit of white scar and a few areas just to pick out reflections. For areas like tabards, gun holsters, pouches, first I started with corn red. Secondly, Bugman glow was added to pick out some of the edges, and thirdly, Caroboberg crimson was applied as a wash. I've used these colours as, although I wanted a red colour to it, I wanted again to try and keep it dark so it helps to give a contrast with the brightness of the main armour. For this part of the weapon, I'm presuming it's rotating around to a point where it creates a high amount of friction and energy. So I started off with Uriel yellow. Then the little square areas had phalanx yellow applied to the front face of those areas, followed by a little bit of dawn yellow on the uppermost part of those square areas, and then at the end Fenrisian orange was applied to the whole area to give it a nice vibrant yellow colour. For the gold areas, Jennena's gold was used first, then Auric armour was used second. Afterwards a wash of Agrax Earthshade was applied, and the reason why I've applied the darkest colour last is, again, I'm trying to darken some of the colours down to help with that contrast between the dark colours and the very light colour of the armour. If you like the video, remember to like, share and click on the button on the lower right hand side to subscribe.